everyone, me and Buster Green here with another random ass video about Lupin the Third. Now, I recently did a video covering my reaction to the new Lupin Part 0 prequel series that I'm honestly not that stoked about, but I'll give it a chance when it comes out. Thankfully, that is not the only Lupin project coming out in 2023, and the other one is something I am actually super excited about. Now, before we get down to it, I currently need, oh snap, 894 watch hours to get monetized. Hey, good job everyone, we finally cracked 900 today. So yeah, once again, if anyone can watch my channel for at least an hour, if like 894 people could watch my stuff for an hour, I'll be monetized in the next hour. Alright, so anyway, let me soapbox on Lupin the Third again. I got two topics to cover today. First, I want to react to another new Lupin project that's just been announced, and this one is pretty crazy and interesting. It's Lupin the Third versus Catseye. So, unfortunately, this project has no real release date, which is super annoying. All I know for sure is that it's coming out next year, and the trailer makes it look like it's virtually done, so it literally could come out any day between January 1st and December 30th of 2023. I expect it to come out soon, though. If I had to, take a ballpark guess, I'd say it should be out in the next 3 months. Alright, anyway, so what the hell is this movie? Let's talk about it. So, in the past, we've seen Lupin the Third do some versus crossover movies. We had 2 rounds where he went up against Detective Conan, and those were interesting enough, but not really. So anyway, now Lupin is further expanding the all-anime is connected cinematic universe by going up against Catseye. Now first things first, some of you might not know about Catseye, so let's talk about Catseye. Catseye is probably one of the most 1980s anime ever made. Now, bear with me, I'm going to do this all from memory. The general premise of Catseye is that there are these 3 meek Japanese sisters, and they run a cafe called Catseye in the day. But at night, they happen to be a gang of international jewel thieves, also named Catseye. A very super obvious coincidence that should make it really easy for anyone to figure out who they are, but no one ever does. Anyway, they're really good at being thieves, and by and large, no one quite knows who they are or how they exist. And they're not kleptomaniacs like Lupin. They actually have a list of specific things they're trying to steal. See, they're actually trying to steal back property that was formerly owned by their extremely wealthy father, who lost it all somehow. How did he lose it? That was a major plot point. I forgot how he lost it all. I think it was taken away by the government or something. Alright, let me look it up. Oh, my bad. Their dad was a Nazi. I forgot. Sorry. Oh. Yeah, they're all fucking half Nazi, half Japanese girls. Okay, yeah, that completely explains why all his wealth was redistributed. Because he was a fucking Nazi and he committed war crimes against Anyway, the Catseye girls are breaking the law to get back their dad's Nazi stuff from, I guess, other Nazis who were holding on to it for him. And anyway, now there's this cool Japanese cop trying to track them down. But unfortunately for him, one of the Catseye sisters is his girlfriend. And even more unfortunately with him, she completely just fucks him over and plays with his heart, plays with his head, plays him like a goddamn fiddle. And so then the key crux of the drama in Catseye is that we have this policeman, Toshio Utsumi, who every night he chases this mysterious woman who is actually his girlfriend. And he doesn't know it's his girlfriend because he can't actually catch her, but if he ever caught her, surely it would break his heart and destroy him emotionally. It's like the Roadrunner and the Coyote, if the Roadrunner and the Coyote were secretly fucking on the side and they didn't know. On the flip side, is Hitomi a fucking monster for lying to her boyfriend every day on a daily basis for her own personal gain? Who knows? The drama in Catseye is about the barriers between love, society, men, women, deception, infidelity. Can 2 people in love ever actually trust each other? Not in this show, because if they were honest with each other, they'd eventually have to kill each other. So it's super, super dramatic. Now, I've seen all of Catseye. The anime is alright. The manga is one of the greatest selling manga of all time. Weirdly, even though Catseye is all about ladies, it's a Shonen Jump series, but unfortunately it kind of doesn't get the other respect a lot of other classic Shonen Jump series get because it started ladies and not gentlemen. I think the only real ladies from Shonen Jump in the 80s that they want you to remember are that, like, hard-ass grandma who voices every single Dragon Ball Z hero. Look, there's only one thing that dates Catseye and dates it hard, and that's the fact that when the girls go off to commit their crimes every night, they commit their crimes in these super dated 1980s jazzercise uniforms. Like, I don't know why women were so into wearing these in the 1980s. And I don't know why they stopped either, but because they did stop, it dates the show. It's really funny too, because I literally cannot think of any other anime that's just completely fallen apart because one thing is just like dated it so hard. Just people just don't jazzercise anymore, you know? Like, I mean, shout out if you can think of any show that's aged worse than Catseye over something more trivial. Anyway, Catseye is also considered a sister series to Tsukasa Hojo's more famous, more popular series City Hunter, and it's shown that it takes place in the same universe as it. Now, City Hunter characters sometimes visit the Catseye Cafe, but Catseye actually predates City Hunter by 2 years, and basically kind of set the tone for the story and the art quality before City Hunter started. Either way, Catseye and City Hunter both have these intenseful, joyful 1980s vibes, and both shows just really fucking show like how like wonderful and like lovely the 1980s were. Like, if you want to like just embrace the 1980s, like watch any of these shows. By the way, leave me a comment if you want me to do another video about City Hunter, because I don't have time to talk about City Hunter right now, but I kind of want to. Anyway, now let's check out this trailer for Catseye vs. Lupin. Now, so far they've only released a 30-second teaser trailer, but you can take a lot away from it in a couple of seconds. Now, before we get into it, the movie's going to be a Prime Video exclusive, and I really gotta say, right now, Prime Video is fucking killing it with the exclusive Japanese content. They've got the EVA rebuild, they've got Kamen Rider Amazons and Black Sun, and now they've got this. Now, I had Prime before just for the shipping, but with all this top-class Japanese content, Prime is fucking killing it right now. Anyway, first things first, everyone complained in Lupin vs. Conan that Lupin's extremely detailed human beings clashed with Conan's extremely undetailed human beings, and they had really wished that they had just picked one art style and stuck with it instead of clashing them up. So in this movie, seemingly reacting to that criticism, they actually did that. In this movie, everyone has Tsukasa Hojo's hyper-detailed art style that City Hunter and Catseye are famous for, and I love this. I'm actually really good with this. Now, it grounds everything in the Catseye City Hunter universe, and it also sets a fairly serious tone right off the bat just from Hojo's more serious art style. Unfortunately, since the art style is so detailed, it creates a bit of a hard hurdle for the animation team because it's really hard to animate in the Hojo art style. I think very few studios can still manage to pull it off. So unfortunately for that reason, this movie is all CGI. That makes it the official second CGI Lupin movie after Lupin the First, and it's a little bit of a step down from that in terms of quality. But hey, it's also the first CGI Catseye movie, so for them it's a step up, since they haven't had any new content since the 80s. Oh, and speaking of the 80s, this is the first time since the 80s that we've seen Pink Jacket Lupin in a starring role. Now, Pink Jacket Lupin, a little bit off-putting. Fan canon states that if he's wearing pink, he's gonna stink. Is that how the saying goes? Or is it more like, if the jacket is pink, he's dumb, I think? Anyway, Pink Jacket Lupin is typically regarded as the dumbest Lupin. He's Mad Magazine Lupin. He's not smart, he's not a criminal genius, he's a fucking cartoon character who gets blown up by dynamite. Now, I don't think this movie is going to follow that rules. It seems like Pink Jacket Lupin is here, but it seems like he's still going to be a fairly serious representation of Lupin. So I wouldn't make any expectations about this guy yet. Actually, honestly, he looks more like 70s Lupin, except with a lighter, more pastel palette tone. So I really don't know what to expect of this Lupin. We do get a quick rundown of the Lupin gang in the Tsukasa Hojo art style. Jigen looks great in it. Goemon looks kind of old in it. Why is Fujiko dressed as a Russian cop? That completely threw me off. Can't see her boobs, so I can't judge Fujiko. Anyway, she looks realistic, and holy fuck, Zenigata looks good in this art style. That's the suavest goddamn Zenigata I've seen in years. That is not a Zenigata who's going to fall into like a barrel of fish or something. Anyway, so we see Lupin take a one shot at the Catseye girl, and I guess he blows off a chunk of her hair. And yeah, they look good as shit too. Like, they look very refined. And I might as well bring up that all the Catseye girls have been updated for this movie. So once again, I unfortunately have to state it one final time. The age of Jazzercise has ended! Nobody knows what Jazzercise is anymore! Jazzercise outfits make them look weird. So yeah, this officially moves the Catseye girls past the Jazzercise outfits. And so they all get new outfits and they're dressed like friggin' ninjas. Also, these new ninja outfits come with face masks to prevent COVIDs and further reduce the chance that their goddamn boyfriend won't be able to identify themselves from like a photograph or like a CCTV. Oh, and yeah, there's the boyfriend cop. He's in this. So yeah, all the places are back in place. So that's it for the trailer, because actually this trailer is short as fuck. You see like a train blowing up and that's about it. Now, what you actually don't get from the trailer is the synopsis of the movie, which I actually found and read. Now, the synopsis actually sounds super exciting. The synopsis is that Lupin III, who obviously hates Nazis and is always stealing stuff from the Nazis, is down to steal some Nazi shit again. However, the Catseye girls, who are the daughters of a Nazi, and who are actively trying to steal back his Nazi stuff, come to blows with Lupin because they want to steal like the same pot of Nazi gold or something like that. And yeah, that actually sounds amazing. The only thing I have to wonder is if they are updating Catseye for modern times, is their dad still going to be a Nazi? Like at this point, wouldn't it make more sense for it to be their granddad or even their great-granddad? Because we're like a long ways off from the Second World War now anyway. By the way, I wonder if there's a chance City Hunter will show up in this. I'm going to say probably not, because that would be such a big deal in its own right. But I think they'll at least get a mention or like a photo like reference or something like that. Either way, I don't think Lupin versus City Hunter will be happening anytime soon, because the two of them are a bit too similar at the end of the day. Although, realistically, it could happen very easily. Then again, I'm not sure, because I think the only reason Catseye and Lupin are fighting is because they're both owned by TMS. And I think the anime rights to City Hunter is tied up with Sunrise. But anyway, I don't know. Once again, leave a comment if you want me to go off on City Hunter, because I do have things to say about City Hunter. Alright, so I think that's all I have to say about Lupin vs. Catseye from now. But hey, since I'm talking about Lupin, this seems like a good time for me to randomly drop my end feelings about Lupin Part 6 here. Sorry for the spoilers, but I don't YouTube about Lupin enough, so if I'm going to mention Lupin Part 6 at all, I might as well do it here rather than anywhere. And if you guys don't want Lupin Part 6 spoilers, just subscribe, end the video here, and watch more of my other stuff so I get monetized. Thanks. Anyway, yeah, so I finished Lupin Part 6 a few weeks ago, and gotta say, ending was really weird. Kinda not as fun as your usual Lupin ending with the ridiculous MK Ultra twist that kinda demeans the entire series retroactively. And geez, the Sherlock Holmes things, just still such a massive waste of potential. It was less Lupin versus Holmes and more like Lupin exists in a world where Sherlock Holmes is a washed up deadbeat. Massive, massive waste of story potential. Like, why establish Holmes at all if he's not going to matter or be any kind of force in the events of the story? Also, I kind of gotta shout out what the fuck was up with Zenigata at the end of Season 6. It felt like he essentially gave up on pursuing Lupin, but at the same time was still willing to work with him to catch a serial killer. But my suspension of disbelief for Zenigata was completely shot when this season he decided to just allow Lupin to start killing people again. Now look, I don't mind the occasional Zenigata and Lupin team up. I think they're pretty interesting. But because there's such a wide variety between different depictions of Lupin and different depictions of Zenigata, where they're like best buddies or like mortal enemies, I'm typically only okay with them teaming up when Lupin isn't a full edgelord, self-serving, chaotic, neutral Lupin, which is what he was in this season. Honestly, if I'm being real, Part 6 kind of let me down. It definitely didn't feel as clever as Part 4, and it definitely feels as socially relevant as Part 5. It had a few fun episodes, don't get me wrong, but the whole season felt like a massive misfire because it wasted the Sherlock Holmes thing. I feel like in the end, Part 6 is just going to be propped up by a few standalone episodes that went above and beyond and like kind of kept it being Lupin. My best 3 episodes for Part 6 were Episode 0, where Jigen's actor retired, and that was a massive character study. Episode 17, where Ling Fen Wan showed up. She gets my pick for the most interesting original character of the season, and it was probably one of the most focused action set pieces of the entire season too. And lastly, episode 21, Welcome to the Island of Bubbles. That was like probably the last episode I outright loved from the season. It was set from the perspective of a nerdy teenage girl who just happened to live in a town where the Lupin gang passed through. But that episode was by far the funniest episode of the goddamn season and a fucking comedy goldmine. So yeah, that's all the feelings I have about Lupin the Third this week. Thanks again, everybody. I gotta get back to working on my anime now. Please subscribe once again. If everyone can watch my channel for an hour 894 times, I'll be monetized. So that's where I'm at. Thank you. Good night. Bye.